And
They're an amazing place.
what's wild about that one is it's a one-way trip. So you
Yeah.
start in Missouri, you end in New Mexico, and then it's not a loop like the typical drag and drive
Yep.
is. So I think that one's going to be pretty fun. It's definitely on my list of events that I would like to attend this year because I think that'll be fun.
Yes, certainly. Well, let's plan on it. Let's get your list put together. I'm going to hit as many as I absolutely can. Plus, I have signed up for um, several of the Midwest Drag Race Series events. That's also sponsored by Summit Racing. So I signed up for 5 or 6 of those events of their 8 series next year. They're saying Mid Michigan Motorplex is day 2 for Drop the Hammer.
Cool.
So thank you guys very much. Appreciate that. And then again, guys, we can't do this today. You've got a lot of folks on here tonight. I want to say thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for being our race car friend. Hit the share button, if you will, please, as we bring in our guests here in just a few minutes. We got another few things to cover, but guys, we can't do it without you guys. We can't do it without our sponsors: Summit Racing, Molly Motorsports, Howard's Cams, Sweet Patina, and Racing Junk Classifieds. It's amazing to think that they are. So it takes such a team to put all this together, and it really does. So.
Yeah.
And then I stopped at Molly Motorsports in North Carolina. I was literally driving right by there. I'd messaged Eric Grillo a couple days before and asked, "Hey man, can you give me a tour?" And he did, dude. He rolled out the red carpet for me and Jesse Fox. You can see in the right side picture there as you're watching this. That's a piston to some Caterpillar diesel engine that Molly was working on. He said a lot of years ago. And then in the left side picture here, you've got Herbert, the Molly Motorsports mascot. And then so I have a video coming that's Herbert and his trip from North Carolina back to Arkansas and all the state signs being on the dash of the little Saturn rocket. So it's pretty fun. I can't say thank you enough to Eric. And guys, this is a full size trash can, full of pistons. It create like a big trash can, like a 55-gallon trash can in the back, and they had 2 of them, and you can't really see it, but there's boxes that are stacked next to it that are also full of pistons destined for trophies. It's pretty crazy to see that. And so Eric was kind of explaining why they have so many, and some of these pistons look identical to each other, but they may be a millimeter here difference or a centimeter there difference to test like dome size and things like that. And then they have a 3D printer that they were actually printing pistons in the back to test like how rings would fit and things like that. So pretty crazy, pretty crazy setup there. I couldn't believe it. Thanks to Jesse Fox for hanging out with me. Appreciate that. While we basically camped together all week, and then he stayed and went to this with us. He takes a lot of photos for them behind the scenes. So that's pretty awesome. A lot of the pictures that you see posted on the Molly Motorsports social stuff is taken and edited by Jesse. So that's always cool. And then they had one other story, I promise. They had a big block Chevrolet engine with 4 different styles of pistons in it. So they were all the same dome, but they all had different thicknesses in different areas or different skirt shapes, and not like skirt bottom shapes, but skirt like the roundness of the skirt and how it will rock within the cylinder. Of course, Eric is talking about that, and he's so far over my head. I was just staring at him starry eyed. So it was pretty, but they were putting it together to get it on the engine dyno. So that's pretty
Very
awesome.
cool.
Yep. Well, before we bring on our folks, guys, we want to play the Molly Motorsports ad and just say again, thanks to them for being a part of it.
Molly Motorsports is the
Well, I'll, you
Molly Motorsports is the official piston of DragOnDrive.com. Molly's Power Pack piston is the perfect candidate for your drag and drive car. Molly Motorsports competes in drag and drive events and supports our community. Project manager Eric Grillo raced a 10-second stick shift Nova at Hot Rod Drag Week 2022. He's also competed in Rocky Mountain Race Week last year with his C10 truck. Visit mollymotorsports.com for the most recent line of products.
Awesome. All right. Well, again, thank you to that. And then you guys are going to hear that buttery voice here in just a minute because Eric's going to be on here. But before we do that, I want to talk about we're gonna basically cover SEMA, and these guys both attended. And Justin worked the Summit booth and does all kinds of stuff with them. And then Eric actually hosted his own booth for his Destroyer 1320 theft deterrent systems, which is really cool. So we're going to talk about their favorite cars. We're going to talk about maybe their favorite booths, and then who all had Bluetooth drive shafts and what all fun stories we have from there. Let's start with kind of we'll bring in Eric first here in just a second, but I want to embarrass him before we do that. So Eric Bingston owns Destroyer 1320 Theft Deterrent Systems. Guys, he has been a longtime friend and immensely helpful in building our YouTube channels over the years. And he's just been a great sounding board for ideas as we've come along. Him and I met at Race Week 2020 and have been longtime friends since then. But even before that, he was helping me build Narcoleptic, and now obviously he's helping. He's a big part of the Drag and Drive Addiction, idea pool of people that we hit. He provides solutions for Dodge owners and Mopar owners that basically helps them keep their cars safe. We're going to have him explain what all his stuff does, but I know that his device has saved many a Hellcat and other Mopars from being stolen. Guys, you just go to his Instagram and you'll see it. It's like Destroyer 1320 on his Instagram. There are videos all the time that people send to him that show what he does and what his product does to help keep from things getting stolen. And then Justin Wiedemann is the face of Summit Racing. Guys, any videos, you saw him earlier on this show, you saw him in the commercials. He does a lot of the stuff on All Cylinders podcast. He does a lot of their live stream interviews with guests, but anytime you see stuff, it's him. He's always smiling. He's always having a good time. So enough of my chatter about these guys. I want to say thank you to them for coming on before I even bring them on. And so let's do that. Let's get them on here and discuss kind of how SEMA went and what they saw, what they wanted to see more of. Gentlemen, how are you this evening?
Good. Yeah. Nice to see your smiling faces.
Cheers.
Right? Yeah.
Cheers.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Yeah. Cheers, everyone. Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't come through. It's green.
That's awesome. Well, the easiest way to kind of set this up is the rotation of the way things will work is we'll ask questions, and then it's probably easier for Eric to answer and then move to Justin. That way we're not all trying to kind of step on each other. And the first thing we want to talk about is, who you guys are and what you do. So the first question I have is 11-year-old Eric and Justin, were they car guys?
Yes, very much so.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I kind of grew up in this. My dad's mechanic, hot rodder. My grandfather, my fondest. I always say what solidified it for me was a guy here in the town I grew up in had a '69 DZ302 Camaro, and I don't know, I was probably 8 or 9 years old and went in a ride for that, went in a ride in it. And, just that 4-speed, just grabbing gears, putting it to the wood, that solidified it for me. And I was, Hunter, there's the quote that goes, faster, faster until the thrill of speed overcomes the fear of death. And that was it for me. Always car guy.
Nice.
That's awesome.
For me, it was my uncles. I had twin uncles growing up that huge Mopar guys, clearly. But my fondest memory was we were in a 70 Challenger with a 440 in it, not stock whatsoever. And I was sitting in between the seats, and my brother's sitting here, my uncle's driving. I'm sitting in between seats, so I'm kind of hanging on, looking through the window, looking at everything. And we're at the light, and there's a guy in a Nova next to us. My uncle said, "Hold on." I thought I was holding on. I flew up and hit my head on the back window and fell down in the seat.
Yes.
I was addicted. I was addicted from there. I was like, if throw me through the air and smack my head on the window, come on, man.
I'm in. Well, guys, tell us what you do. Sorry, Eric, go ahead. You were saying.
No, I was just going to say a lot of people here watching probably don't know, but Eric and I actually grew up in the same town, and he now lives in Arizona, but probably, what do you say, 15 minutes at the most from each other?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Didn't even know.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. Well, let's obviously talk about products here. I mean, obviously we know Justin slings all, the world's largest parts retailer. We know kind of what you do, but Eric, kind of tell us what goes on with Destroyer 1320 theft deterrent systems.
So, kind of a cliff note version of how this all came about is the reason I'm called Destroyer 1320. People go, "Oh, you're trying to rip off 1320 video." No. I had a Destroyer Gray 1320 Challenger. I wasn't being creative at all. I called it what my car was, Destroyer 1320. Put it together. So I have been on YouTube for quite a while, as Mike and Eric know. I met them through YouTube. And I went to a race. It was a YouTuber call-out race. And I was going to race a gentleman named Wide Body Nation who had a Hellcat Red Eye. I knew I was outgunned, but I knew I'd get him to the 8th mile because my car would hook and go. So I met him on a Friday. He comes to the track Saturday and goes, "I can't race." I'm like, "What, did you break your car? What happened?" He goes, "No, I got stolen." So we found the footage from the hotel he was staying at and watched how they did it. Now, take in mind, this guy had a brand new C8, which was one of the first C8 Corvettes there was, next to I think it was 2-week-old Hellcat Red Eye. They didn't even look at that C8. They went straight for that Hellcat, popped it in neutral, and rolled the thing away. So I tore my car apart when I got home and cut up. It was actually the heat shield from a cold air intake, and bent it up and found a way, drilled holes and made it fit over that so no one would steal my car. At first, it was me being selfish, like, I ain't doing that to my car.
Yeah.
So I made that, and then I showed it to somebody. They're like, "Can you make me one?" I'm like, "Sure." Then, "Can you make me one? Can you make me one? Can you make me?"
Yep.
And now we've sold over 10,000. And so,
golly, dude, that's so amazing.
Since 2020, but we continue to grow. Yes, we did SEMA. But that's kind of my backstory, is that we protect Mopars from the dumbest way possible, which is they have a stupid little strap, and they pull up on the strap. It puts the car in neutral. The cars with the key fobs, 90% of the vehicles made with key fobs, fun fact, the steering wheel does not lock. So if they get your car in neutral, they can push it anywhere they want to go.
Wow. Oh, man, that's scary. That's scary.
Trucks, SUVs, cars. And so we currently protect almost the full line of Mopar. And I'm working right now. My brother and I are brainstorming. We're going to start doing Ford F-150s. We're doing Mustangs. We're moving over to Chevy. All the vehicles that have this issue, we're going to cover in the future.
Nice. That's awesome, man. Well, Justin, tell everybody kind of what's a day look like in your life? Because I can't just say you're a social media and video guy. Like, you do so much.
So my official title at Summit Racing is video host and technical advisor for internet marketing.
Yes.
So that was the fun fact, is I got to pick my own title, and my goal was to make it go across the whole business card.
Yeah.
Because that was like, I was like, yeah, if I'm going to do this, I want people to like stare at it. So lots more words, the better. So a lot of, if I'm not out on the road, covering events or, heading to shows like SEMA or, out and about with some of our project vehicles, I work out of the Ohio location, the home store of Summit Racing.
Mm-hmm.
And I do a lot of video filming, brainstorming, general in-shop work, just trying to make cool content to bring it to the people.
Yeah, man.
So every day is different, and that's what I appreciate. I'm never doing the same thing like twice. 1 week I can be working on a project Jeep. The next week I could be building an LS, or talking to cool folks like you guys. So it's always something fun and refreshing. Actually, me and you, Michael, met at the first autocross week presented by Summit Racing. I jumped on the podcast a little bit then, and we've been talking about getting together and doing this, and now we're finally doing it. So
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited to have you on, because you have a different approach. Like, we're going to talk about how many times you have been to SEMA, and then like maybe how many times Destroyer's been. I know he's never had a booth, so we're going to talk through some of that. So I think it's going to be a great mix of folks here, guys. I just want to say, please hit the share button as we go into this. We're going to have some fun. Kind of the plan here, we're going to spend 30 or 45 minutes, maybe an hour, discussing what SEMA was like and kind of what the future for you guys is. But if folks have lived under a rock and you don't know, SEMA 2023 had more than 2,200 exhibitors and more than 160,000 people attended. It was crazy looking out there. Now, I didn't go. I've never been to SEMA, so that's another reason I'm leaning on you guys, because I want I want to be sold, and why do I need to go, and what do we need to tell? So kind of walk us through, Eric, you first, what your typical day was like while you were at the show.
Okay, typical day was try to get to bed. You're in Vegas. Okay. Yeah. So there's everything that doesn't make you want to go to bed. Yeah. So getting yourself to go to bed, waking up, realizing that you should have gotten up a half hour earlier than you did, struggling your way to walk the 800 miles it feels like to get to where you're supposed to go just to get coffee, realize the line is way too long, skip the coffee, head straight to your booth, get everything set up, hang out with everybody for an hour and a half, realize you haven't had coffee and haven't eaten, and then go hit the restroom, forgot why you went, left the thing in the first place. Somebody brought you coffee, and then you're happy. So that's kind of the beginning of the day. But the rest of the day is truly meeting industry leaders, a lot of heavy hitters. You don't have bottom feeders, and I don't mean no disrespect to anybody who does whatever you do for a company. I'm just saying, if you're going to SEMA, you're going to meet vice presidents, presidents, international people that really can make decisions in companies. So you need to understand it's a business to business event. It's not for, Bob needs a camshaft. No. That's not what that's about. It is your business doing business with other large people like Summit Racing.
That's right.
And by the end of the day, your feet want to fall off, and you do it again the next 4 days in a row. So yeah, that's kind of my take on a day in the life.
Justin agrees.
Yeah. So for me, my day, starts, I do obviously the media side of it. So my day starts and the hard part for me is, I'm in Ohio. So my time schedule, I'm waking up at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And so you're up and about and, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed on the first day. And by the end of the week, you got some bags under your eyes. And, it's not for the faint of heart. I get up in the morning, I head over to the show. And the big thing that I do when we go to these shows is I talk to some of our vendors. And we want to show the cool, new, sweet products they brought to the show. Mm-hmm. So me and the video team will head over to a bunch of different booths during the day, interview people. We catch some celebrities in and out, we're just trying to bring the media coverage to the people. So, hit different booths, film videos all day, from when the show opens to the show closes. You go back to the hotel room, you flip your shoes off, you contemplate life. You go to In-N-Out. That's, we don't have that on my side of the world. So I think a couple of the guys here at Summit ate In-N-Out 5 times. Like yes. I got In-N-Out before I got on the plane. Like I was waiting, and In-N-Out opened at 10:30, so I was waiting outside of it before my flight. I was like, I got to get it one more time, get my fix.
Yeah, here in the Midwest, we don't have In-N-Out, so when we see them, we eat them.
Yeah, not to mention it's Halloween week. So, you have to go down to Fremont Street on Halloween night and see all the extravagant costumes and people. And your time, like I said, if you stay out till midnight, you're like, oh, gee whiz, I'm up till 3:30 in the morning home time. Like this is not sustainable or healthy. And then there's navigating the people. It's amazing. You could have an extravagant video camera and all this stuff sitting out, and you're filming a video with somebody, and then you just have, somebody just walk through right in the middle of it. Like you're not even there. And you just keep that smile on your face and just keep on doing what you're doing. But yeah, you see so many crazy people. It's Michael, we got to get you out there. It's you too, Eric. There's no trade show in the world truly like it. I wonder if the Aces construction show is the same way. If people want to come look at, there's all sorts of cool cars. Do people want to come look at drywall the same way? I don't think so, but I think we're very fortunate to be in this industry and kind of have this kind of trade show.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. And like PRI is more racer centered, and SEMA has a little bit of everything. I mean, we were talking about rooftop tents a minute ago. We're probably not going to see rooftop tents at PRI.
Unless it's on top of some like drag and drive car with a big, big nitrous big block in it, I don't think so.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
And with SEMA, I think they do a lot of outdoor stuff because obviously the weather there is going to be a lot better to where PRI, it's Indy, it's December, it's cold. You don't have that outdoor stuff going on as well.
Yeah.
Well, and that's a crazy aspect in how the show's changed over since they built the West Hall. Like, kind of it was before the giant West Hall and before they had this, expanded the convention center more. A lot of vendors were outside and you had to do your, kind of pay your dues and be a tent outside for a couple years and then move inside the show. Now I don't know how many, I said this last week, I don't know how many millions of square feet they have under roof there at the Vegas Convention Center, but it's all of them. Like,
it's ridiculous. It's more feet than you can walk the entire time you're there.
Yeah, wow. I did 120,000 steps in 4-ish days. And
wow. Yep.
Yeah, I'll give you guys my number one SEMA tip later, and it's feet related.
Yes, yeah. Perfect. I'm sure that will run right over into our PRI prep as well.
Right. Going back to what you were talking about with the media too, I ran into that at PRI last year. You can be, like you said, making a video or taking a picture, and people just don't care. If I'm standing there trying to take a picture of a car, people will walk right in front of you. It doesn't matter. That was a learning experience for me last year to realize, like, they don't care that you're taking a picture. They don't care that you're recording a video. You're in their way, and that's it.
Yeah. The beautiful thing is it was Halloween. So the people walking by aren't just normal people. There were some very interesting costumes out there. I'm not sure how many Justin saw, but I saw a few that I'm like, thank God my kids are at home.
Yeah.
Of course, it's Vegas, though.
Yeah, to say the least, my friend, to say the
least. So just an estimate, how many people do you think that you talk to during the week?
More hundreds.
Yeah.
I mean, vendor wise, I did a whole 4 days worth of vendor videos from, show open to show close. And then a whole bunch of inserted in between. But just like the coolest part, I guess, for me, and it's very humbling, is people that come up to me and watch my content and know who I am.
Yes.
It makes me it puts a big old smile on my face every time. Like, I got to pinch myself sometimes. I do let the air pressure out and I make the air pressure noise because it's just cool. Like, you're just like, oh yeah, I'm just making these videos and nobody's watching them. No, people watch them. They come up to you. They kind of hype you up a bit, and it makes all the bad days worth it. And
yep, absolutely.
It's so humbling. Like, I don't know. I feel very, very good after every conversation. And like I said, I just like to talk back to people. I'm a talker. Mm-hmm. I like using words. So it's very joyous for me.
What about you, Eric?
So we had a corner booth and we were next to Rockford, Fosgate, Uniden, there's some very large folks around us. And we averaged, well, let's see. I went there with 1,000 business cards. I have like 15 left.
Nice.
And we sparingly I told everybody in the booth, I said, okay, only give out business cards to people who aren't just tire kickers.
Mm-hmm.
Like tire kickers, okay, here's an info card. We had a separate info card we'd give them. People who were interested, and I still have, this is a stack that I whittled down from about 200 of business cards of people who I want to follow up with. But yeah, we would have 100 to 150 a day, no problem per day. It was just nonstop. It got to the point where my sales spiel, you start adding new words and trying to change it up. I was like, do I just record it and like just, hey, so what's that?
Play. That's awesome.
You should have had it where you make them pull the strap, and when they pull the strap, it plays your.
Yeah. Yes.
That's great.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
So while you guys were there, did you meet any celebrities?
So the most. Oh, I'll let Eric go first. Or
No, I was gonna say, go ahead, bud.
So the most, my hardest fangirl moment, most humbling. This was the best part of my show. Is I'm standing in the Blueprint Engine booth talking to Kel from Blueprint Engines, and Stacy David walks up to me, knows who I am, starts talking to me, and then same deal as here. He's like, "I'd love to have you on the podcast," and I just look at him like, a little kid inside me right now is losing his mind. Like, I woke up on Saturday and Sunday mornings not to watch cartoons, to watch you. And dude, so nice. And then I met a lot of other cool YouTubers. He was just that just blew my mind. From Rob Dom, kind of the Rotary God. He does a bunch of cool Rotary stuff on YouTube. Sage Thompson, the Donk Master, or Sage Thomas, my bad. He was cool. Tons of people. One of the other cool kind of up and coming people on YouTube also that I did a cool interview with was Riley from Riley's Rebuilds. She does a bunch of cool carburetor content for Edelbrock and those folks. But Tavarish from he's restoring this cool P1 McLaren that I just think it's just neat because you're taking something that should be extremely expensive and you're it was in a hurricane and you're fixing it, doing sweet stuff with it. But yeah, tons of, and then I went to the HP Tuners. They had a kind of a vendor appreciation kind of go-kart night. And, a ton of other from Ian Johnson, which I've done some stuff, met him, did some stuff with him, Blake Wilkie, Holly Mischief from Mischief Maker TV. Just, there's so many people. That's the cool part about the show. And I'm sure Eric can attest to is you could just be walking around and you're like, we had, his name just Brock. I can't remember his name. He drove the Shelby Daytona and did a bunch of Datsun racing too. His name just slipped my mind, but his first name is Brock. He's an older gentleman and he's kind of a race car god. I can't remember it off the top of my head.
Brock Yates?
No,
Brock
Peter
Lesnar?
Peter Brock. I am so.
There you go.
Woo!
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah. So Peter Brock was in the ATEC booth. And
cool.
got to talk to him and just kind of shoot the snot. And you're just like, yeah. But yeah, no, it's wild. It's an industry show, and there's tons of cool people there from the industry.
That's awesome. What about you, Eric? Who'd you run into?
Well, interesting. The most interesting one was the FBI came to me.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, hi. Well, which he didn't even announce it. He said, well, what's this about? And I explained and showed him everything that we have that we're selling. Yeah. And he goes, well, my name's so-and-so with the FBI, and I'll be contacting you. We've had 7 cars of ours stolen this week.
What?
And so I showed him the 7 vehicles that we covered. And he goes, yes, we actually have all of those.
Yes.
Here's my card, sir. Let me know.
Yes, please. We make
the price may rise, but I will help you.
Yeah, we make government deals. Just back end here.
Wholesale available.
It's the Destroyer 1320 mil spec edition.
There we go.
That's right.
Exactly. But then I got contacted on LinkedIn by a young lady. Said, "Hey, I'm with Buddy Hull Racing. I wanted to come by and say hi." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, cool." I thought, okay, maybe a sponsorship deal or something, like me sponsoring his drag car. He's got a top fuel NHRA car. And no, Buddy Hull himself, and that's his wife who contacted me, came up and talked to me for about a half hour. And he's taking pictures and video and sending it to all his buddies who have car stereo shops and tint shops and all these. He's like hooking me up on the spot.
That's
awesome. Yes, I'm definitely looking forward to do some possible partnership with that. He wants me to set up my booth by his trailer during the NHR races out this way.
What?
Like, yeah. I could go on for 2.5 hours. By the way, I did meet Stacy David, and I tried to buy him a breakfast sandwich. I was in line at the little side thing at Westgate. Yes. I tried to buy him a sandwich. He wouldn't let me buy it, but great guy. Met him, shook his hand, said hi. Let's see. The guys from Rust Valley Restorers.
Cool.
You guys know that one? The dude with the dreads and whatever?
Avery. I met him too.
Oh, yeah, Avery was there. In the elevator when we were leaving, I met Hurt from Hoonigan.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
I said hi and drank a little coffee with Mike Finnegan and David Freiberger.
Yes. Yes.
Shorty, the painter for Martin Brothers, actually came up to the booth and talked to me. And it's funny because Wide Body Nation was there with me, the other YouTuber who got his car stolen, the reason I exist. And he's talking to the guy and he walks away and he's like, oh, that guy was nice. I go, you don't know who that is. He's like, what? I said, that's freaking Shorty, dude.
How
What's that?
awesome.
What's that? I'm like, bro. So I start showing him. He's like, oh my God. I go, yeah, dude. He's like a legend.
That's awesome.
So anyway, that's just a few of the people I got to meet.
That's a few of the celebrities you guys met and impacted their lives. Well, let's change it up a little bit. Let's talk about favorite cars because the list that both of you guys sent, we're going to actually pull pictures up here on the screen. This is the reason I want to go to SEMA right here. I wanted to see this. Like, dude, I wish I had snagged a picture from the internet of the guy standing next to it. It's literally shoulder height to what looks like a regular sized adult man.
My favorite 10 out of 10. I was obsessed with it. I probably looked at it 6 or 7 times.
Oh, cool. Well, tell us about it. What is this thing? What powers it? What's the inside like?
So it's a homage to they're a Winnebago Arrow, which is, a vintage camper that we all love. We all saw growing up, but it's on a golf cart chassis. And there's so many, it's all custom made, hand built. The aluminum work was amazing on it. It has a tent on the side of it. I think that's a Dometic rollout tent, I believe, or like
Nice.
a rollout on like a canopy
Awning.
that you put on the side of your trailer. But it had a matching mini bike on the back. This cool custom interior. It had air horns. The kind of like the fun feature that I thought was just very, very tasteful was in the back bumper. You remember on, old campers where you'd have your your black pipe that you'd store in your bumper and pull it out. Like it's kind of the corrugated hose. It had one of those on it, just like a mini version.
Yes.
Yeah. But it had cameras in the top and what looks like to be the AC unit. So you can see all the way around it. Like I said, it was just amazing on a golf cart chassis. I would want a larger version to pull on my little one just so I could. It is so neat. Like
you've got that on the trailer behind the big one. That would look awesome.
Yeah. So me and one of my buddies were talking. I sent this to him. And I was obsessed. I was like, I would daily this to work, and I figured it out. I could take all bike paths. It would only take me about 2 hours to get to Summit in this thing, but I would just leave a little early.
Yeah, I mean, and it'd be so worth it. How cool is that thing? Well, the next setup here, obviously, is a picture from Destroyer sending it over. Dude, tell us about this thing. Is that a Ring Brothers car? What is that?
Yeah, it's called the Roid Runner, and it was really cool. There's a little video, a short that I did. So the guy who created the 360 booth that's inside of, he was standing there and he goes, hey, let me put my camera up, or hands me, takes my phone, and he goes, you want a video of this? I said, absolutely. So he takes it and puts it next to, this is really a weird setup. If you look at the bottom on the right side, you can kind of see a little black line behind the back end of the vehicle. That's a track. And that whole room rotates on a track, and you're standing still. But when you watch the video, it looks like the whole thing's rotating and you're standing still. It's a mind meld. Like, it is the coolest thing. And yes, that is number 2 of my favorite cars that we saw there. And the experience of that was really cool. If you ever see a 360 booth, go check that thing out. I already looked up how much it is. I'm like, man, God willing, someday we'll be able to go, hey, who's got a cool car? Come here and put it in, because we need to take some cool pictures and video.
Right? How cool. Well, that car looks amazing. I mean, the Ring Brothers, they are no joke. They do the best stuff.
Unreal.
Yeah. The Ring Brothers car was amazing. This thing was rowdy, and it had a cool story. It was in the Vibrant booth. It's basically a Firebird on a IndyCar chassis is the best way I could, or it's like IndyCar themed.
Okay.
All sorts of crazy suspension. Like I said, IndyCar massive aero, tons of carbon. the motor in it, the LS, basically, it would be like where the back of the cylinder head would be like where your knee conventionally sat in the car. But this thing was built by a father and son in like a year and some time, a year and change time. They plan on doing a bunch of crazy stuff with it between road racing, maybe Pikes Peak, just wilding out with it. And like I said, it was LS powered, had a giant turbo on it. Very, very well clean build that I was just obsessed with. And then we got some Donk Master action there.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about donk racing, but I'm obsessed with it. And I think it's something I want to get into. And this is a blower car. They have something for every, these guys are into blowers, nitrous. I love the nitrous. Nitrous and big blocks just put a big rowdy smile on my face, yes. giggle gas all the way. Turbos too, but they race them like no time cars. And the fact that some of these are like 2,000 horsepower and they could smack them down the track in somewhere around 10-ish seconds, even faster, is insane to me.
On like a 26-inch tire. I mean, like these, or 26-inch wheel.
Yeah.
With the, probably a 31-inch tall tire. I mean, it's crazy.
That's the race my friend got his car stole at. It was a YouTuber call-out race. The race was Demonology versus Dunkmaster. So, yes, I've seen these in person. I was there when the first ones that were on that stage were done. So, this car is wicked fast, like 8 seconds.
Yeah, they're absolutely insane. And think about you have how fast you go on like a 28 10.5 and how much how much a tire wrinkles. You don't have any sidewall. It's a controlled it's controlled chaos.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would think like the tuning aspect from that side would be very, very difficult. I think Mac Fab beadlocks, Lyle Barnett, the thing he's with, I think they make a 26-inch beadlock for these things. It's crazy.
I'm all about that. It's like I said, it puts a smile on my face. It's something I need in my. I'm a big car guy. I had a 78 Mercury Grand Marquis that me and my buddy Kenny, we hopped up the big block in it. I blew out the spider gears, do donuts in it one weekend. So then I just put a mini spool in it. But, we used to take that thing to the drag strip and go make hits in it. And it was so much fun. It's drag racing a couch. We weren't going that fast, but man, it was all about smiles per miles.
That's exactly right.
Have we had a donk car in a drag and drive yet?
There was one on, I think it was Southeast Street Meet last year, but it was just on a set of 20s or maybe 22s.
Man, could you imagine seeing that rolling down?
That'd be awesome.
Showing up to a race. I bet you could convince a lot of those guys to come do a drag and drive.
Yeah.
Oh, they would. Yeah. They would.
They got to get the experience, and we just got to get out to them. But I bet you they could put on their own drag and drive with as many of them as there are.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's blown up just like how kind of no prep and like backtrack racing has in the same aspect. They're just doing all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yep. That was awesome. That's I'm telling you, I'll build a donk at some point, like a 78 two-door Caprice, 28.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah. Big twins.
Yeah, I love everything about this. Turbos are cool, but I think you should just huff it full of nitrous. But that's just me. So this thing was cool. This is actually Tavarish's. This is the P1 that was in the hurricane down there in Florida. He bought this thing at auction for like an obscene amount of money. And so P1s are there was actually a ton of P1s at the show. Like I used to, when it comes to hypercar, this isn't a supercar anymore. These are hypercars. And this was kind of the first generation of those in the 2010s era. But these things were like the fastest hybrid for a long time. And this dude basically bought it out of the hurricane, has pulled this thing entirely apart, and is slowly putting it back together. Yeah. It's not going to be a hybrid anymore. It's going to be just McLaren powered, but this car will eventually be the fastest McLaren in the world. And it's cool to see, you watch the video of the thing in the hurricane and it's completely underwater, and it made it from a car in a garage, like 800 yards down the road. Like The garage door got tore out. Dude, it's wild. Like that whole video series is so cool to follow, and just I don't know. I'll never be able to afford something like this, but it's cool to watch somebody fix one.
Well, and what's really neat is like, I mean, he basically sold all of his project cars to fund this one project. Like there was a lot of stuff that he sold to be able to come up with the money to buy this, and then the subsequent, build from there. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and I don't know, he did that one episode where like McLaren quoted him how much it would be to fix it, and it was just got like $500,000. That was it was $500,000 if they wanted to do it, like if maybe they could fix it. And it's just like that is sickening to me.
I can't imagine trying to get through, and then obviously the pitch to them is, this will be fun to do, and then they're like, nah, no thanks. we don't even want to do it. So that's a cool project. And then these last two here from Eric. So tell us a little bit about these.
Yeah, so the one on the left is Welder Up. He built this truck and a rat rod, and this is what greeted me when I figured out where to park or how to park at Westgate, because a couple of tips there. You figure out where the drop off is for your stuff for your booth. You have to know literally exactly where to go, because they'll just scream at you like you're a complete idiot and you don't know what you're doing. And you're like, you don't have it online. There's no manual anyway. So finally, I pulled into where I'm like, well, I'll just go to the hotel, which is connected to, exactly where I'm heading. So I pull up to the hotel and I'm like, oh my God, this is sitting there.
Wow.
So I'm like, I pull up, illegally park, jump out, talk to the guy, like the little caddy dude who like hauls your suitcases in. I'm like, bro, will they tow me? He goes, well, what are you doing? I said, I just need to check in real quick. He goes, hurry. I'll try and stall him. Hurry. Because I mean, it was insane. Justin can vouch. Like there was no parking anywhere. Cars and people just like ants everywhere. So I run in, I get done, getting my little card for my room. I run outside, take a quick video of this and a quick picture of it, jump in my truck, and I'm like, hey, where do I go park? And he goes, well, you're staying here. I go, yeah. He goes, valet's free. Score. So I just drove around, pulled right back in valet, right next to this thing, got out, took like 20 minutes unloading everything, sat around, nobody cared. I'm like, oh, word to the wise, stay right there if you can, close to where the venue is, because otherwise you're A out when it comes to Vegas. But the CUDA on the right, luckily my wife was next to me and holding my hand, so I didn't actually just pass completely out. For me, I'm a 71 Hemi CUDA freak since I was a kid. Like I said, I grew up in muscle cars. I've ridden in 71 every year up until they became crap of CUDA or Challenger or any type of Mopar. But this is based on a Hellcat chassis. So the whole entire thing is all Hellcat, but it's a 6-speed. So automatic millennial anti-theft device. But this thing looked exactly like a 71 CUDA. Now, the back end, they Frenched it and put the exhaust out the back, which is a pretty cool feature. But if you walked up and knew what those cars should look like, this was the best I've seen for a resto mod.
Wow. Nice. Yeah, it looks amazing. It looks amazing. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, and those cars are – and I love that it's purple too, because that's what, the Mopar of that era, they came in some wild colors. And to see that is sweet. A Turo Tire had it was a similar build to an aspect of it. It was a modern Challenger or Charger chassis. This one had a 68 Charger body on it, and the thing was just – I looked inside and I was like, oh, it's got an 8-speed automatic. And I started looking, I was like, this is Charger interior. And they're like, oh yeah, it's cool. There was an all carbon C8 there that I thought was cool too. There's just so many cool cars. Like you can just walk around and look at neat things all day long.
Yes. All day long. There's a 69 Roadrunner full carbon.
Man, I just can't imagine like that. Okay, Eric, add that to our list for next year too.
Right.
Put that on the list too.
I'm gonna need more vacation time.
Yeah, you certainly will. You certainly will. That's exactly right. I don't need any more vacation time. I need more trips in my life, is what it sounds like.
Well, and rent one of those little scooters if you're going to just look at stuff because it's way better. Those little get out of the way, guys. Beep beep. Hook your GoPro on there. Yeah, you will thank yourself because I didn't even make it into the West Hall. And my buddy Ruck Rack, he created this thing for Jeeps called a Ruck Rack. He had his whole booth out there. I didn't even get to go see him. He didn't get to come see me.
Wow,
it was just too much going on.
Yeah, when you're working that's too hard.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And they do that it's something cool they did last year. They did it on a Thursday. This year they did it on Friday. But they do like a fan experience. So if you're not kind of industry affiliated, you're able to get into the show and go walk around. And dude, Friday when I went to, say my goodbyes and go get ready to go get in and out and that kind of stuff, finishing up my week, there was a lot of there's just so many more people. Like I said, it's SEMA this year was busier. It's like it's even busier than pre-COVID SEMA.
Wow.
There's just an insane amount of people just to show that this industry is alive and thriving. And it's just so many. It's hard to get where you're going. And that's the thing is you don't think you're like, oh, these halls are right next to each other. I had a video to do. I had to go from West Hall to South Hall, which you're like, oh, they're next to each other. Dude, that's a 20-minute walk.
You have to go outside. I found the secret. If you go outside and walk outside, it cuts, I swear, a half mile off the walk.
Oh, 100%.
Wow.
Or you can go through the test. They have that cool, I don't know what it's called.
No, the Tesla tunnel.
The loop. Yeah. You can go ride that. That thing is neat. It's kind of cool to see all the Teslas. Just you're driving and basically just like it looks like a worm dug this thing out, and you're just like going. There's cars everywhere. Thanks, Elon. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Right. Well, what about like some of your favorite booths that you guys saw?
Ooh, that's a hard one. I really appreciated that. The Destroyer 1320 booth was amazing. That's real fantastic. If I ever buy Mopar, it's the first place I'm going. That anti-theft. Holly's booth for me was really cool because they have such a large product offering, and they did a really good job of kind of representing their new Sniper 2 system. And then the other cool part is, with these LS is cool, and we all love LS swaps, but we can get LT motors at the junkyard now. And so they have a whole standalone system for the LT stuff, and they were doing a whole bunch. They actually won a new product. It's a new product of a year award. There's more to the title than that. I just can't remember it. But they have it's a LiDAR fuel sender sensing unit. Yeah. So no fuel pickup. It uses science to tell you how much fuel's in your tank. And I thought it was the coolest thing since Betty White, because Betty White was born before sliced bread was invented.
That's right. Well, we were. It's funny you were talking about that. We were actually talking about that at Southeast Street, and one of the guys was like, "I'm fixing to put it in when I get back." He's like, it will save me from running out of gas. He's like, because every time they would get their sensor all messed up, he's like, this won't happen. So pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I'm all about that. That's what when me and we did that 57 Chevy build at Summit, and we drove it all the way from Summit to Utah to Robbie Layton's place, and then to Hot August Nights over in Nevada. Wow. And the fuel sender did not work until Denver. So you'd get about 126-ish miles, and the thing would run out of gas. Nice. And so that is the perfect thing for that, because it was just, we wired the sending unit into the stock gauge, and you kind of tap it on the dash to see how much fuel you actually had. And so that LiDAR would be dialed for an application like that. Yeah, tons. I mean, there was tons of cool stuff. Willwood had an amazing booth that was all brand new and fresh. The Miller booth is always cool because they're welding in the show. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then you go over to like the South Hall, which would be like, South Hall is wheels, tires, and tools. So you have Hunter with their massive booth over there, and they have all the machines and their mountain tires doing crazy stuff. And you got to watch like you're walking around in there, and then there's people with those like the tire cheetahs, and there's just those going off everywhere, and you kind of jump a little every time. You don't get used to it. Yeah, there's a ton of cool vendor booths out there. You just got to take it all in. Like, so I like the Anderson Composites because they had a ton. They had a full carbon C8, and then you just see all these cool cars made out of carbon. I know this is not a popular subject for a lot of people, but Tremec had some electric, their new kind of electric transmission, or I should say drivetrain in their booth. They had an electric powered E-Type Jaguar that is basically looked like the front half of a TKX with an 800 volt electric motor hanging off the front of it. And yeah, there was the electric section at SEMA this year was just it's a cool. It's not here to replace hot rodding. It's here to it's another power form to our sport. You know, eventually e-drag racing will be something a lot of people are doing. So they kind of had a whole section at the show, emerging electric, and they had a ton of cool stuff down there that just makes you scratch your head a bit. Like the guys that were riding horses in the early 1900s did the same thing when they saw gasoline-powered cars.
They're like, that'll never last. Then who's ridden a horse in the last 50 years?
It's a pleasure item, dude. Horses, anything that I can't cut the throttle on or it has a mind of its own, I'm kind of out.
I can appreciate that. What about you, Eric? What were some of your favorite booths?
Let's see. Besides the hand-built one that I made in my garage,
right?
Which is, I'm just saying, you don't have to be huge and like worth millions to be able to go and enjoy this and be a part of the show, which is really cool. I think it kind of helped us because people were like, well, who's that?
Yeah.
What are you doing? And I had a guy go, you should be a millionaire. You should have a bigger booth. And I go, thank you for saying that, but what do I need a booth for? See this? Right. See this? Either you want your car stolen or you don't.
Yeah. This is good social media marketing. That's all it takes right here. Yeah. How cool.
But no. My favorites were Toyota, since it was really the only big manufacturer there, but they really did a great job. Their booth wasn't really a booth. It was a section. And they had some of the coolest Toyota builds I've ever seen. And I'm not a Toyota dude. I mean, I like it for like a work truck. I had a Toyota Tacoma that I drive up mountains and go work on stuff. Not a fan other than that. But they had a really, really cool booth, really cool setup. And then there's wax booths that were in the North Hall. I don't know the name of the supercar, but the thing was full carbon fiber once again. And whatever it was, I don't know the name, was worth more money than I've ever even stood next to in my entire life. So that I had to say that one was pretty cool. But I didn't get a chance to really venture too far.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got to walk past Jay Leno's Demon 170 and his little spray boots, so that was pretty cool. But I really was, jump outside, come back in, grab a sandwich, go to the bathroom. That was it. So, I mean, I really didn't get to gallivant too much, but that's what
that's definitely the aspect of working the show is you're like, these are all things you see in passing when you're walking to and from your booth. Like, you're not as kind of, working your booth. You're not sticker picking and tire kicking. You're and you got the blinders on.
Picking and tire kicking.
I mean,
that's true.
I'll be honest. I do have sitting right across my living room. There is a very large bag of stickers, lanyards. There's some socks. There's people put some real cool stuff out on their booths, and you just kind of it's smile and wave, boys, smile and wave. Just don't make eye contact because you're picking it up.
Well, and that's one thing I think Eric and I are going to struggle with is we've set up these meet and greets at like I'm working with Tommy and Jim to do one at the Summit booth, and like it'll be okay. We can only be gone this long because we only have volunteers that can run our booth for the time that we're gone, so we're going to have to really be careful with not getting, oh, hey, there's some race car friends there. Let's talk to them for a few minutes,
Piece of
going to
candy.
be interesting. Yeah. Oh, hey, we need to see these people. David and Tina Pierce are always a great one, but I'll talk to them for 30 or 45 minutes, and I'm not going to be able to do that this time.
Yeah, you got to tap them on the shoulder and say, hey, follow us. Come back and do it at the booth.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Exactly right. Yep.
So, what'd you guys do in the evenings, or were you too burnt out to do anything?
So we would walk back through because we were connected to the halls through Westgate. We would walk back through, and you basically walk right into a bar. I mean, there's a bar on your left as you walk in, and then there's a casino to your right. So depending upon how busy the bar was, you'd grab a beer and then you'd walk over to the casino, sit down, and just relax for a minute.
Yeah.
Because the line going through, no matter, it would have to be 2 hours after the thing shut down before you can even get to the elevator to think about going up and down. And the elevator in Westgate is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. I think 1 out of 8 work, truly work. So the line was just, I mean, Tom Bailey, I'm look over, I see Tom Bailey, and I'm like, oh, that's Tom Bailey. And he opens this little door and goes walking out. I'm like, what? He went the stairs. He actually walked up. I wasn't going to go. I was on the 5th floor, and my fat self was, that's good. I'm good.
Like, nope, I've walked enough today.
I've walked enough. I'm not trying to climb stairs.
Yeah.
But no, we would go, we'd grab a beer, we'd sit down, play a little slots here and there, and talk to people. Got to talk to a whole bunch of different people that were at the event, and see how their things are going. And once the line died down, go up, put your feet up for a minute, go grab dinner, and sack out because you got to get up and roll again.
I'm the chubby little fat kid inside me loves food. So most of my after show shenanigans was I'm not into gambling in a casino. I like to gamble with like stock head gaskets. That's like my form of that's how I like to party. Like that's like if I'm gonna waste money, I'm wasting money. I'm buying random stuff. So I'd go get something for dinner, go kind of talk to the work guys, see what's going on. And then so my guilty pleasure hobby is RC airplanes. And nice. I have an RC airplane simulator with like a controller, and I hooked that up to my the TV in my hotel room and sat there and beat sticks for a couple hours. And then I was tuckered out and fell right asleep and hit the show the next day.
Nice. And so let's talk about like setup real quick, because you guys, obviously this doesn't start on SEMA starts on Tuesday and runs through Friday, right? So like when did you guys arrive?
So I got in Monday at 10 a.m. I was fortunate enough, and we have an amazing team at Summit. The semi, we have a couple of semis that go to different shows, and as you guys have seen, there's a whole bunch of them. And so they got there, I believe, Saturday or Sunday, and it's like they're very good at what they do in the aspect of you can put the thing up real fast. So the team slayed between Summit, Trick Flow, and ATEC, setting the booth up, getting that all situated. So I kind of just showed up to the party. I won't take any credit for all those fine people's hard work. I just showed up with a smile on my face. But we had Project X, which we all know and love, that iconic, Tri-5 Chevy, and then the big red Camaro in the Summit booth outside.
Oh, how cool.
Dude, it was so like seeing Project X in person. Like I was, again, 12-year-old me. I remember reading Hot Rod magazines and just being like, this thing is so sweet. And to see it in person and like look at it is amazing. But our hardworking Summit guys got the booth set up several days before the show. Like you had to be set up on Monday, ready to go, because watching the whole orchestra of stuff being moved in and out of the show is insane. Like, it's amazing how it can go from an empty convention center that just had a show in it like a weekend prior to a full out, SEMA. It's wild how that whole thing works. It blows my mind every time.
Right. Eric, you're muted, bud.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Okay. No, so ours was a little different. I woke up at the butt crack of dawn, and we loaded all the stuff in the back of my Dodge Ram 2500 and strapped it all down and started driving. And we ended up there about 2:30. We pulled in, and that, like I said, we tried to find, hey, we're here to put up stuff at our booth at the North Hall. Where do we go? Go around back.
Nice. Okay.
Well, around back is relative because it's massive. So you got to go down 4 blocks that way, 2 streets later to be able to turn that because the other road goes that way. You get around.
Oh, nice.
Luckily, we were able to find where we had to go. So we pull up and I'm like, hey, here's what's going on. Here's what I have. I had all my credentials and everything. I had my SEMA exhibitor summit person. I was here. I'm paid.
Yeah.
Okay. So we pull up into this little parking lot and they pull up with a little cart, throw all your stuff on there. And then my wife had to jump on the cart and find the booth because I had to move my truck immediately. I could not leave the truck there while I went to even see where the booth was. I had the little map that I'd seen when I bought, when I paid for the booth. But I was like, okay, so that's when I went and did the whole fiasco where I saw the welder up truck and was like, how do I park? Luckily, I was able to park there and jog my way back across over to where my wife was and then try and set up the booth. But it really was, it worked out really well. It could have been very bad. Had we not stayed at that hotel right there, this would be a completely different story.
Yeah, this 200 KSS saying F1 track being set up made traffic even more fun.
Dude, you want to talk about seeing stands in the fountain outside of the outside the Bellagio. Dude, that was the other crazy part. Is so I stayed over at the Renaissance, so on the exact opposite side of the West Gate, next to the convention center, and that big old eyeball thing, spear, right outside my window. I was waking up at 4 a.m. and you look out the window and that thing's just doing some wild stuff. Dude, it looks like an eye sometimes. There's a big old eyeball and it's like looking around at the people on the golf course. And I'm just like, gee whiz, that is creepy.
Yeah. Yeah, let the aliens come down now. They'll be like, what is this?
Yeah. No, it's you party in the desert, brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, are you guys going back? What's the plan for 2024? Are you going to revisit SEMA?
That is, SEMA. It's a kind of so post. We took a 2-year break over COVID. We didn't attend 20 or 20 or 21. But yeah, no, for 24, Summit will be back better as ever, checking out cool products, seeing those industry people. It's a great show for us, like I say, because we get to see all the people that we have the pleasure of distributing their parts. And it's a lot of fun to see the smiling faces and seeing all those cool new products that we will be able to get in our doors to get to the masses.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly right. Eric, what about you, bud?
Well, let's see. I probably am going to wait till March of next year and see what the ROI is on that because I pretty much sold a kidney to go do all that, being, the smaller business that I am.
Oh, yeah.
So, we'll wait and see. I have plans. I already have thought out everything I would do, wrote it down, I have a game plan ready to go. And I actually have some cars already picked out, ready to go, lined up, should I do it, that are willing to go and be part of our booth, which won't be a 10 by 10 this next year. It will actually be a booth-size booth.
Yeah, nice. Cool.
I just want to see all 4 of us together in Vegas next year, eating in and out. And I will show you guys my favorite sushi spot, which is all you can eat, and it is dialed. Again, fat kid in the candy store. There's something about eating fish in a landlocked state that is interesting, but it's real good, I promise.
Nice.
Well, maybe you can get us a couple extra spots and we'll be there.
Yeah, we're not doing a booth at SEMA.
I'll talk to my peoples.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm in. So what did you guys learn this year? And then what kind of tips do you have for newbies going to SEMA, or maybe that will even apply to us going and having a booth at PRI?
So for me, it's especially like on my side of it, when I'm doing, kind of the video stuff, it's all about, you don't miss any opportunities to like do an interview or talk, like just kind of like Eric said earlier, you never know who you're going to talk to and who that person can be. So put a smile on your face. You're at a trade show with a bunch of like-minded people, just talk to everybody. Walking shoes is that's my big tip, is invest in a good pair of shoes because your feet are going to thank you. Lots of water, keep hydrated, take care of yourself. It's a long, stressful week. And, Yeah, and relax at the end of the week and take lots of pictures so you can reflect on the amazing time you had.
Yes. While Eric kind of gives us his stuff, Justin, look and see how many pictures and videos you took, or if there's any way you can find that.
Oh yeah.
That'll be a very interesting number. Me, I can tell you, I think about that many.
Yeah,
that's all the time I had.
Yeah. Yep.
My wife probably has a few more than I do, but no, for me, things I learned. The biggest thing I learned, and this may come across cheesy, but believe in yourself. Knowing you guys are coming from the same cloth that I am, that you're kind of putting your sack on the line to go do this. And it will help grow your brand. It will help grow who you are. Have confidence in your product, and your product is you and the things you are able to give to others, which is a lot of exposure. The thing I noticed is I didn't feel like a small fish in a big pond. Part of it was because of my confidence in not only who I am, but in the ability for our product to actually help people, which is the whole point of the business that we have going. So don't feel like you have to be the big player that all these people are. And there's a lot of people, and I have 5 other people that were there with me that can vouch. We had more people coming through our booth because of our personalities than you have people who were paid to go there and sit at the booth, and they're on their phone. And they have lights and speakers and all this stuff going on that looks like a circus, and they're sitting there and they don't even talk to you.
Yeah.
So big lesson. Make sure you don't have your table in between you and your customers, your folks that you're meeting. That makes it transactional. That makes it feel like you're buying something. Get rid of that. Set it to the side. Have your stuff on it, but have it where they're welcome in. We took and made it where our corner booth, you almost had to walk through our booth to get by, and one of us are going, "Hey, how's it going?" Or somebody stop and look at our little video playing, and we're like, "Oh, want to learn more XYZ." So that's probably my biggest thing, is make sure you're not disconnecting yourself from the people coming by, and be you. And I don't care if you, like, at times was a little groggy in the morning, grab that coffee and, "Hey, how's it going on? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. How you doing? Having a good time yet? Your feet hurt?" I mean, just the simple stuff. Everybody, yeah, absolutely. Or, "Hey, did you try the hot dogs over there? They're good."
Nice.
Yeah, that's good information.
Anyway.
Yeah, and that's what's important. Like, is you just got to be personable, especially like, in my aspect of being on camera. I can't have an off day when I'm there. I gotta,
Right.
as much as this is hard to believe, sometimes his face doesn't smile.
Oh, no way. I don't believe it. You smile in your sleep, man.
Sometimes my glass is half full, but that's, seeing the people and the cool stuff and having people pumped to talk to me is what makes it all worth it and really fuels this fire. To answer your question earlier, Mike, only 246 pictures and videos in the album.
Oh.
And then I looked in my deleted, and I have 62 deleted videos from, different takes. This kind of like
nice.
when Instagram shorts weren't going my way. As hard as to believe, movie magic makes me really look really good. We have some really good blooper reels of me locked away in the summer safe somewhere.
Nice.
Yes. Well, guys, I want to say thank you so much for coming on tonight. This really has been helpful. I mean, the last 6 minutes here have probably been helpful for Eric and I to do our show. Going to be our first booth. This really is, because, like you guys said, I mean, this is a big financial commitment for us, and especially doing the Drag and Drive Awards show along with that. So, we have all of that extra stuff going on too. But I'm excited. We're going to turn it loose. I mean, we really are. This PRI changed our life last year, and it's going to change our life again this year. I mean, we're just going to keep adding to what we're doing. And that's, because you guys come on and you guys help us understand what to look for, and tell all the fun stories and car stuff. So we appreciate that for sure.
Yeah. Thank you
Absolutely.
so much for, having me on. This has been so much fun. And I can't wait to see your smiling faces at PRI. It's it's going to be so much fun.
Yes,
we're going to have a blast. We do have the internet package and electricity at our booth, so we're going to go live a lot during the booth, because there will be a lot of our friends come by that talk and stuff like that. And I mean, I know when Justin comes by, we're going to we'll throw live on, and we'll go right from there and talk and all that kind of stuff. So it'll be really fun. I'm really excited.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I'm pumped. Well, guys, tell everybody obviously where they can find you on social media. We want, folks to immediately that are definitely on a Mopar to go find Destroyer 1320. So tell them where they can find that. And then obviously, Justin, where they can follow your stuff.
So destroyer1320.com is where you can protect your Mopar from being stolen the dumbest way possible, which is having it pulled into neutral by a stupid little red strap. And there may be somebody who's way up in the company, maybe CEO level, who bought 2 of them for his personal vehicles. So they do work. He can vouch. Not saying who it is, but yeah, go check me out there. I am also Destroyer1320 on YouTube, and my Destroyer1320 on Instagram and TikTok. I'm also Destroyer1320, but somebody stole Destroyer1320 on Instagram, so it's my Destroyer1320 there.
There you go.
I'm going to follow right now.
Yes.
Thank you.
So for me, you can find my smiling face on Summit Racing's YouTube page, on our TikTok, on our Instagram, even on the main page when you jump on summitracing.com.
It's pretty awesome, man. It's cool to see you out there and see everything you guys have going. All right, we're gonna kick you guys off, and this will not be the last time you're on the show. We definitely want to have follow-ups and talk about stuff that's happening during 2024 and all the fun stuff that's coming there. So thank you so much, guys.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Yep, can't wait to come back.
See you guys.
See you.
Thank you.
Awesome, dude. How much fun was that? Those guys are amazing.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, they really, it's always cool to hang out with all those folks. Well, I did want to check one thing real quick. I wanted to see where we're at. The circuit again has registration open. We are literally 8 tickets away, 8 racers away from being sold out.
Nice.
Really day one. And what's cool is we offered early registration to racers and their co-pilots from last year or 2021. And they took most of the spots. And then we had some public spots that were available today. And I'm telling you guys, it's going to be a premier regional drag and drive event. Regional to us means a weekend event, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 3 days or less of racing constitutes a regional event. And we're going to have a blast. It's going to be crazy. The pre-party is awesome. And I can't wait to do all that. We're going to go over some other stuff with it on Saturday's show. But then my entire goal tomorrow is to wrap up the regional drag and drive racer lists and the 8th mile lists that I have. But like I said, I'm still waiting on the stuff from Devin and Laura at Southeast Street Meet. I know they had a ton of information to input. So I look forward to getting that and just running through that. But one other thing that happened this weekend was I saw a gentleman that had a Ford truck, and on the back window, he had Hot Rod Drag Weekend 2015. So obviously my brain starts kicking around and I'm like, what does this mean? What are we going to do? How do I get that information? So I do, internet search, trying to find it, and I can't find that information anywhere. And I message the team over there and they send it to me. So I'm like, so now I can add one more layer of drag and drive historical data to the page. So we have a lot of stuff planned. Yeah, there is a little bit of downtime between Sick Week and the circuit. And my goal for 2024, a few weeks. About 6 weeks, 8 weeks, maybe. My goal then is to completely revamp our website. I want to essentially build a way for racers and promoters and announcers to be able to go and find information very easily. When events are, that is the first clue. That's the first bit that I'm working on. I've actually been working trying to understand interactive mapping and how to make it to where you could click on a state and it show the events and dates of that in that state. And just further, we are really going to elevate our game between what we've learned so far and what we're doing next. My ultimate vision, and I'm glad that there are people still watching this, but my ultimate vision is for you to be able to go in there and search for Eric White, and it bring up Eric White's historical drag and drive data in one easy click. You could do that as an announcer at an event, you could run through the names as they're coming up on the list. You could actually type it in and it be that fast. So that is my ultimate goal. Guys, we have an opportunity here that the growth from Drag and Drive has been great, but there has been very little historical stuff talked about. And we want to be that for you. We want to be the news. We want to be the entertainment for you guys. We want to bring you what has been missing, really. I mean, if you look at like NHRA and IHRA, they do this stuff. That's what we're going to do. And that is our niche. That is what I nerd out about, is trying to figure out how many people have done an event. You know, we've got racers that are coming up on 20 drag and drive events, you know, and there's no way to find them unless you knew which events they were. So we're going to fix that, and it's going to take a ton of time. So I say all of that to say, if you would like to get involved with the brand, now is the time. We are submitting proposals for 2024. If you are a company, or you know of a company that you think would be a good fit for us, because obviously we're not looking for just anyone. We look for companies that are already involved in the community or want to be involved in the drag and drive or drag racing community. And we want to help them obviously grow or complete their vision while we also complete ours. So anyways, that's my soapbox I'm talking about here tonight.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And on top of that, if anybody in the community has ideas of things that they want to see from us, please reach out, because we're always looking for new ideas and what
don't
can
say
we
naturally aspirated list. I'm building it.
and what things we can bring to you to make this even better. You nailed it, Mike. 2024 is going to be a huge year for us. I'm so excited. I can't wait for it. I'm super excited. I can't believe that this year's almost over. We've done this now for almost a year, and it's been a crazy year. And it's just going to be wild.
You know, 38 episodes is only our 2023 season. You know, we'll end up somewhere in the 40s, obviously, as we go along. We have another, 5-6 weeks of year left here, so we'll end up in the low 40s. And there was a moment there where we took almost a month off of doing anything. So, you know, we'll add all of that time back. We have more than 100 live streams that we have put out during 2023. And dude, I expect it to be 120 next year. So, because we'll be doing daily stuff from the events. But guys, just want to say, go ahead.
I was just to say, we need to figure out some year-end kind of shebang that we need to do for the end of the year.
Yeah, we're going to have a blast with it for sure. And then we may take the first week of the year off and reset and just go right into it. But we may not. Who knows? I don't know. But guys, I want to say thank you for being our race car friend. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you for the likes, shares, comments, all the stuff that you do that keeps us motivated. I'll tell you, I worked about 2.5 hours of stuff today I was not motivated to do that today or yesterday. I wanted a break from being on Southeast Street and eating the drive round trip and stuff. But I did it because there were people that were liking and commenting and stuff. And guys, I want to say thank you to our sponsors. You know, we can't do it without them. We can't make these trips to these events without them and being a part of everything. So Summit Racing, thank you very much. Thank you for letting Justin come on tonight. We appreciate that. Molly Motorsports, thank you for being a part of our program. And then, of course, obviously, given the tour the other day, Eric Grillo was a super host, and we got to meet a lot of people that are behind the scenes. Howard's Cams, our buddy Luke B up there. That dude is amazing. I can't wait to hang out with him. We're going to see him. We're actually going to be at his booth Thursday afternoon at PRI for a meet and greet for about an hour. Sweet Patina, the first sponsor that came on board with us. Give us a chance. Thank you very much. We appreciate them. And because they really are, they live and breathe built for drag and drive, built for driving. And that's what they do. Everything they offer is to keep your car going and looking better. And then Racing Junk Classifieds, man, I'm telling you, I'm going to end up buying something on there. There's all kinds of engines. We always feature cars, but there's all kinds of engines and parts and pieces and things like that. So thank you very much, guys. We appreciate it.
Yep. See you guys on Saturday morning.
10 a.m. Eastern. All right. I'm hitting the button. Bye.